figures. Resource. actionfiguresresource.com.
This is a review of the new Leonardo figure from Playmates, along with a little bit of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles history for Action Figure Resource. 1984, Mirage Studios publishes the first issue of the comic book created by Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird. It is a monochrome parody of Frank Miller's work, notably Daredevil and Ronin, as well as the New Mutants and Cerebus the Aardvark. 1987, a 5-episode animated miniseries was commissioned in conjunction with Playmates Toys to generate interest in a new line of action figures that was created in collaboration with Eastman and Laird. The basic framework of the original comic was maintained, but characters were much more fun and lovable, with surfer dude personalities and a love of pizza, crazy alien and robot villains, and an ineffectual, non-threatening Shredder. 1988, the subsequent animated show ran for 10 seasons and 194 episodes until 1996. The accompanying Playmates line likewise comprises of hundreds of figures, many of which had clever articulation, crazy stylized and detailed sculpts, colourful outlandish accessories, or action features. In the UK, the show is called Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles and has all references to Michelangelo's nunchaku removed due to a brief cultural taboo on that particular ninja weapon, and even the word ninja. 1990, the first feature film was released from New Line and Golden Harvest. Without the backing of major studios, but riding the crest of an unexpected popularity tidal wave, it winds up being one of the most successful independent films of all time, netting over $200 million on a tiny $13 million budget. 1991, the movie's sequel, Secret of the Ooze, emerges less than a year later. It is considerably less successful, netting only $75 million, but still tripling its budget. In accordance, Playmates released several more film-accurate figures billed as movie-star versions, but wisely stuck to their cartoonish style with the rest of the line. 1993, the third movie is released. It hits the number one spot, but the law of diminishing returns is in full effect. It only doubles its budget, bringing in $42 million. Playmates once again releases a line of movie tie-in figures in samurai armour. The animated show persisted for 3 more years, the toy line for 5, focusing on wacky reimagining of the Central Four. 1997, Ninja Turtles The Next Mutation, a live-action Power Rangers-style TV show, emerges from the sewer and is swiftly pushed back in. Playmates produced a line of tie-in action figures, including the female turtle Venus, but the show was of such low quality and so reviled, even by Eastman and Laird, that by 1998 its cancellation precipitated a 5-year hiatus of the brand. 2003, Fox airs a new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles animated show, more serious, action-focused, and closer to the original hard edge of the comics, while still retaining some of the playful attitude of the popular period. Playmates releases a new series of figures, rendering the characters in a way that both updates them to the new show's look and pays homage to the original line. This series ran for 6 years, culminating in 2009, when the Turtles, by way of a dimensional leap, get to meet both their pizza-eating surfer dude incarnations and their scary Mirage comic book selves. 2007, a CG animated movie simply entitled TMNT is released. It takes place in the established movie continuity, but eschews series mainstay villain Shredder in favour of a plot about monsters in New York City. It gets a tie-in toy line once again from Playmates. 2008, NECA acquire a license to produce Ninja Turtles figures and release a line that is collector-focused and based on their first comic book appearance in 1984, even going to the trouble of producing monochrome variants. They are, up to that point, in action figure enthusiast terms, by far the most authentic, detailed and crafted turtle figures to date. 2012, there is much internet debate over the planned Michael Bay reboot of the movie franchise. After much derision from fans over the plotline that pitches the characters as interdimensional beings rather than actual mutants, they go back to the drawing board. In September, Nickelodeon airs its new CG Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles show, which attempts, like the first and fourth films, to balance the humour of the original cartoon with the ninja action of the Mirage comics. Playmates once again releases a line of figures based on these designs. There are superposable 6-inch figures based on the classic Surfer Dude look from the height of their popularity, and another line of 4.75-inch figures based on the Nickelodeon show with accompanying vehicles and playsets. Okay, to start this review, I will explain my stance on the franchise as a whole. I was 9 when the Hero Turtles hit the UK, and was thus the perfect age to get swept up in turtle power. I amassed an impressive collection of the Playmates figures, many of which never reached the UK and had to be acquired on holiday. I had no clue about the original comics, but immersed myself in all things green until the third movie came out, which left me indifferent to what now felt like an over-milked cash cow. Also, I was getting heavily into X-Men by that point and had to move on, thus sparing myself the live-action TV show. I picked up the 2003 line of figures when I visited, appropriately enough, New York City, and was pleased at how well they had captured the essence of the earlier toys. I wasn't blown away by the new animated show, but it did put the wide-eyed and gentle antics of the early series into sharp relief. Then in 2008 I caught the CG film TMNT on DVD, and found it was the take on the Turtles mythos that I had been waiting for. I love the serious and emotional tone and the amusing banter between the four brothers. Although the central MacGuffin could be a lot better, the centerpiece fight between Leo and Raph is spectacular and a franchise high point for me. I bought the NECA Raphael later that year and was blown away by the sculpt, the paint job, the extra accessories and authenticity to the comic imagery. That figure was going to be almost impossible to beat, especially with a toy from a more kid-oriented line, based on a lighter-hearted take on the concept.
ActionFiguresResource.com